So in this presentation, we've got Maxime Hacquard from MVC. Welcome, Maxime.
Hey, Chris.
So tell us a little bit about yourself.
So I'm Maxime Hacquard, co-founder of the Motion Designers community, co-founder of Mhsprod Studio, and I use Houdini as a creative artist. I discovered it a few years ago to improve my creativity, and spoiler alert, I'm still super excited about it.
Excellent. So what are you going to be presenting on today?
So today I will talk a bit about my workflow using Houdini to improve creativity, and I will talk a bit about some ways to use Houdini beside the VFX and games industry, and also talk about the educational challenge that we can face, like mass visualization with Houdini and all that cool things.
Excellent. Well, let's dive in.
So I started using Houdini to create these little kind of shapes. I'm a motion designer and I was working in After Effects and Cinema 4D, and I was looking to create new kind of things, and Houdini was the perfect tool to create really organic and fun things. Let me show you a few little tools that I used, for example, to create this image. The example that I will display are definitely for beginners. Do not expect to learn something if you're an advanced user. So in Houdini, you can scatter points and use images to drive the density or the color. And this could be used to create base particle emission or design, and this is really cool and straightforward. There is also something that I really enjoy in Houdini and that is not really possible in the other software, is the fact that you can use attributes to drive a lot of things. So here I will apply a little noise. It's grayscale values, so from black to white, and this could be used for a wide variety of things. For example, I can use the noise to procedurally delete polygons, or I can also use that to drive a poly reduce, so it will help to create those really interesting irregular shapes. And this is awesome to create organic and abstract design really quickly. I was looking for a solution to overcome the creative blocks, and in Houdini you can basically build your assets and just play with the seed and expect different results. This is really cool because, for example, in this artwork you can see that there is an irregular break in the shape, but this wasn't intentional, and I found this pretty cool, and this is the story behind those artwork. Most of them are like experiment and changing a lot of little elements till I was happy with the things. In Houdini you also have a lot of little tools that are used for VFX. For example, the connect adjacent pieces is an awesome little node that is used, for example, to glue part and pieces together, but in design you can use it to create those cool shapes. Those are little fresh example of design that I found using, for example, packing techniques, noise, using VDBs, air tools, or here the motion operator tools. So here I created a simple shape and using the radial cloner. There is the motion operators tools that are an open source tool that you can download for free. It's created by Toadstorm, and at the beginning Moritz from Entagma also helped building this really nice tool. And this is really cool because it works like the MoGraph cloner in Cinema 4D. Basically you choose several instances, you can select the way they will be replicated, and you can use fall off and little effectors like a randomize, and you can trigger some events, for example, like that, and just by moving the fall off, this create those really interesting things. So I use that a lot to create some radial clones. This is a really easy way to create design in Houdini. Here is other example. For example, on the top left, I use the Mapbox tool in the game dev. Thanks to the game dev team, they are creating really interesting tools, even for the designer. You probably noticed that I'm not creating VFX or video games, and Mapbox allow you to export and grab terrains data, street data from a location. So here you can just grab the street as a spline, the little, and create this kind of design. This is a really cool thing based on real city data. And here is also a little experiment created with the built-in tools of Houdini. Here is two other examples. One on the right is a little artwork that I created for the MDC Cult little contest, created in collaboration with Maxime. And on the left, this was a little example to show how you can create organic design in Houdini. Basically, I used a model and sculpt a bit some original shapes here, and I built my own tool. It's based on the fine short espace techniques. Ben Watts from Entagma made a great tutorial about that, and with some dudes we decided to take a bit further the tool. So here I was able to generate some cool shapes, and once I found a cool shape, I was just able to change the seed and generate it in another way, and I can merge several shapes to find a really unique shape. And then it's just playing with the p-scale attribute to generate different size, playing with something else to add like a sort of a cage, and playing with some lights. And this is like some concept created for Christmas little advertising. So this is totally a fake advertising. I created this example for this demo, but I wanted to show what could be the way I can create some little concepts using Houdini. So in Houdini, the cool thing is once you created your own asset, this is fast to use. That's my logic in Houdini. It's like build something one time and reuse it. You can save your assets, you can save your presets, you can save a bunch of things, and I really encourage people to save their tools. Even for the code, you can save your snippets. So for example, I use a lot Laplacian smoothing, so I just like save that into an attribute triangle, and each time I want to get it back, I just have to click, and this is way faster rather than typing again the code. And that's something that I love in Houdini. It's like you can build your own tools and get faster. So it's easy to play with. It's really creative. You don't have to think a lot. You can change parameters, scenes, seeds, and discover new shapes. It's easy to adapt. The little tool that we've built is could be used for animation and other characters. So once you've built your asset, if it's well made, you can easily adapt. So if like the client likes the concept, this is pretty easy to adapt it. If you trick it enough, it's really unique. This is a quite simple looking asset, and my idea is that you don't need big technical knowledge to create unique things, and the possibilities to go further are definitely here. So it's really fast to create a concept, and there's always ways to debug and create new things, and that's what I love in the software. And you can ask yourself, that's cool, Maxime, but what are the kind of client that wants design? And most of the people really love top tier motion design, and I'm one of those. I really enjoy seeing man versus machine advertising, but I must tell to people, especially to my students, that you also have a bunch of work without doing some crazy technical things. There's a bunch of client that wants unique and moving design, and I think that's pretty encouraging, because sometimes we just see the big clients, but there's also a bunch of little clients that just want fresh and cool design. So those are design created for a website about typography. It's called Huluvu. So those are little animation created for the project. Those were created with by Vladislav Lavrenov. He created those cool little experiments, and we worked with several people to create those really cool visual that could be adapted to the website. This will be a typography website. Let me hide my face. And this is an example of things you can create with Houdini. Those are organic and moving design. I think it's pretty great. This is a little asset created by Cornflakes that was also created for the website. It's really simple but efficient design. So here is more still frames of the typography concept. Those are definitely not final. And here is more example. This one I created them, and this is really simple setups. Those were created just to create like cool banners and design. So yeah, you don't need to create the most technical things to satisfy your client, and this is something really great. There is a big market of people wanting those kind of cool things. So here is more examples about creating and iterating in Houdini. I created this full design and even the other one based on only one research. So I created like a small design, and I changed something and end up with this design, this design, this design, and this one, this one, this one, this one, all based on the same Houdini project. And that's what I love. This is really easy to get creativity, because once you've built something, this is so easy to iterate, to transform your shape, distort them, change the colors, and create really cool design. That's the same thing here. This is all based on a really simple example that was changed and tweaked to create something more unique, like this shape that we used in a small film that we are currently creating. Here is some other little examples of creating iteration. And yeah, Houdini is pretty well made to create abstract and organic design. And the cool thing is, once you've built something, you can use the same element to do a bunch of operation like cloning elements, using the connect adjacent pieces to connect points in the line. This is pretty easy to create cool things. Here is another example of little shapes that I created 1 year ago, just to find some cool things that is harder to create in the other software. And what I love is like the organic little shapes and the irregular things, but it looks really natural in a way that's really cool. Here is more example using the cloud tools in Houdini. That's really fun and easy to play with clouds. Most of the people just start using Houdini to create Octane clouds for their environment, and this is pretty cool because you have like built-in nodes like the cloud noise or the cloud that allow you to create this kind of shape and distort them. Here is more examples of the creative research, and all those little examples are based on one file. And this could sound strange because they look really different, but the cool thing is it all starts from one node tree, and then you create iteration, you take different angles, you add another node. And one project for me as a designer really ends up at the end on a bunch of little cool projects. And in Houdini you can just play so much with things. So here you can create a bunch of things and control controller shape based on whatever attribute and rule that you choose. So for example, if we create some irregular division, you can use the density of the division to delete some parts, and that's what I love about the software. You can really be free about the rules that you are giving to the software to generate shapes. Here is other example based on volumes and noises. And this is cool because as I told before in my talk, my idea in Houdini is you build something one time, and I create an asset out of that. So I decided to create some VDB displacement asset to create those cool little shapes. It's like a generator, and we worked with Enzo Crema to improve that one, and also use some growth option. So this is still an asset in development, but once this will be done, this will be like some kind of growth generator, and this is cool because once it's built I will never do that again, and I think this is cool and the logic that I like in Houdini. Same here, an example about iterating your project. I started creating those really simple shape to explain loops in a tutorial for people, and I just told myself, hey, what if I just change it and put the extrusion in the inside and twist them, and I ended up with this design. And then, hey, what if I use an ends node and just keep the lines, and I put my camera inside the sphere and end up with this shape. So basically those three little experiments are just based on one little project, and here is an experiment with a bit more work. So in Houdini, something that I like, and again this is an example created for the beginner or people new to Houdini, is that you can use loops to repeat over and over operation. So instead of having several times a polyextrude node, you can repeat something. For example, if you use the Laplacian smooth, you can repeat it on a for each loop 50 times, and this will be really hard to manage, you know, duplicating 50 times your node, creating variation for each. Here you can grab data and all that stuff. So all those little experiments can lead to bigger projects, and that's something that I really enjoy about Houdini, because all those little shapes just led to bigger projects. And if you're interested about how to start in Houdini, because my talk is mostly oriented to newcomers and motion designer, I suggest to watch the SideFX Paris presentation. I was presenting at this event with a bunch of other cool people, and I mean, all the talks are so inspiring. I was just mind blown. This is not at all my job, and I was like a kid watching the Houdini codes at MPC talk. I was just, damn, this is just awesome. You can watch this instead of a Netflix series, because this is so, I mean, instructing. And yeah, just take a look at those talks. They all were amazing, and all those little experiments led to bigger projects. So with one of my older my ex-student, we decided to create a small experiment in collaboration with the artist Joshua Pierce, and to create some abstract shapes in nature and surreal environments. So that's cool, because all those little experiments just helped us to dive into bigger project and something more experimental. So this is still in development, and this is going to be a little animated video with all the grass moving. Those are growth system, moving noises, and all that cool stuff. I will not spend too much time explaining those, but the thing is, in Houdini you can just create a particle emission, and using a solver you can connect lines between all those particles. So we need to create an attribute before, but then you can create your lines, and out of that you can create those really fun shapes. And this is all starting from a simple emission like that. And this is what I love about the software. It's you can just create something really simple and create a bunch of things out of that. So if you're curious about all the things that I show, you can learn more about that. I'm the co-founder of the Motion Designers community, and we have a YouTube channel, and you will find a bunch of tutorials made by several people who created Cinema 4D, Houdini, Octane, Redshift tutorials. You also have interviews with Ashtorp, André Lebroff, Jan Sladeko. This is a great resource of education if you are curious. That's why I don't do that much demos in my talk. It's because there's already so much on internet, and this is growing. With the Motion Designers community, we also we are a real community. We are not an online community, and we created and organized events, so MDC meetups, and we also co-organize the Video Copilot Live meetups all around Europe. You can also find a community on Discord. Just ask for feedback. You can find us sometime in the real life. Sorry. Just grab a beer, and this is really cool because it connected a bunch of people. And we also have Facebook groups where a bunch of artists just share their work, ask for feedbacks. And this is really an awesome community, and we do fun things like creation, collabs, contests. And you probably know the community by the curation side if you're on Instagram. I run the Motion Designers account, and I share every day little inspiration. So you probably know that, but you must keep in mind that this is not the community. The community is not an Instagram page. This is a real community. So yeah, if you're curious, just take a look, follow some tutorials, join the groups, share your work. This is a cool video about the events that we organized through Europe with Video Copilot. Whoops, no sound. So imagine some cool electronic music playing, happy people, applause, and yeah, some kind of catchy things. Yeah, so we will not get YouTube strike. I hope we had sound there, but there's no sound. So yeah, we had a bunch of fun organizing that, and we also had a bunch of awesome motion designers speaking. Even Moritz talked at the Berlin event, and I think this was so cool to connect a bunch of motion designers, from Houdini designers to people using After Effects. Yeah, Moritz. So yeah, this is the kind of cool things that we do with the community. So if you're new to the community, join the community. And now let's talk a bit about all the things you can do with Houdini. And I didn't want it to make one talk only based on my personal experience. I think you will have a clearer view of about what you can do in Houdini by sharing the stories of other artists. And right now we are with Ivan. How are you, dude?
Hey there, nice to be here to show you different ways I use Houdini.
Yeah, thanks for being there, and let's start right now. Let's show us how you use Houdini.
Yeah, for sure. So basically I started like 3D a long time ago, like more than 10 years ago, and I've been using various softwares to create a lot of science fiction cities and other stuff. And a while ago, like I think last year, I joined like Axis Animation Studio. I was doing, I was a 3D generalist and environment artist, and it forced me to dive deeper into Houdini. After I quit, I started to work on a video game, my own video game, and this is how I end up working with Houdini every day. So yeah, very shortly, that's that's my path. I talk very fast because we don't have time. So let's go with the presentation. So I make a lot of generation for art surface and organic surface with Houdini. So here is an example of how I used PDG and different ways in Houdini to actually create some art surface pieces that I can assemble together to create a sci-fi city. This whole process helps me to build about 200 pieces in a matter of 2 hours. So this is a huge save of time for me, because before I was forced to use ZBrush and it was much slower. So as you can see, the UV follow the shape, so it means that I can put any sci-fi texture on it and it's gonna just work. I'm gonna move to some organic stuff, which I did for my video game. You can see that I used PDG again to generate a lot of variations into my shapes, so I don't have to wait for every result to cook. I can just cook them all together, then come back and choose the version I like the most and go from there. So here's another example. I also use some algorithm with solvers, so I'm able to transform something into like a mushroom, and I can stop at any frame, generate a lot of shapes, and create a lot of content very easily. Here is an example where I use on the left my basic method, and on the right I just took this left input and it gave me this output on the right. So again, generating a lot of content. Here is the interior of this giant nest, and I used a little character so I can recognize the scale of it, and if the players will be stuck into a corridor, if the slope is too steep, or anything like that. So it helps me to analyze basically the mesh and to spot any potential issue before I am even in Unreal Engine to do a playtest. Here is the propagation of the virus on the map. I also used PDG to generate about 400 contamination on the assault rifle of the player. So it helps me to generate a lot of IDs and then go back to it and just select the one I prefer, basically, and again continue from there.
Yeah, this is a really creative way to get awesome result without select everything or do everything manually.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's a big save of time. And also it creates some happy accidents sometimes. So let's go on the terrains. So terrains is something I really love to do in Houdini because it offers a lot of control. In the past, I've used like Wall Machine, Gaia, and I still use some of them. But Houdini helps me a lot to create all the logic, and I will show you why. So here is like the island. It's pretty big, and there is 9 biomes on it, so different kind of ecosystems. And here is the first method on which I use Houdini to solve a problem. When you have a tree, the PSR, so like the axis, is in the center of the tree, and if you place it in a slope, you're going to be able to see below the tree. And so this is an issue because it's not looking great, and you don't want to go and sculpt below each tree. It's a huge waste of time. So what I did is like create a sphere below my tree and project the terrain on top of the tree, on top of the sphere. So it means that it's like the trees have their roots that ground, the terrain. And anytime I change the positions of my trees, I move a mountain, everything is going to regenerate correctly. So again, Houdini helps me to solve a problem. Here is, I use also a lot the SideFX game dev tools called Labs right now. Thanks to the team for these amazing tools. And here's the physics painter, where I'm able to just place some rocks with physics So again, saving times and creating this nice slope to integrate with the terrain. Here is like a method inspired first by what the team of Ubisoft did into Far Cry and Ghost Recon, where they are looking for the shortest path between 2 points, and it generates a curve which flattens the ground and helps you to basically create a road. So I did the same kind of thing. And this is how I did it. So generated the points on top of the geometry on the terrain based on the slopes, then connected them by some lines, and then looked for the shortest path between 2 villages. So I'm able to create these roads pretty fast. Here is a view from the top, and it also have, based on the curvature of the roads, you've got road signs, road barriers, and stuff like this. Here is an example where I extracted the flow map of my terrain, giving me just this mesh that I can use to place the lakes. And on the right, the river starts, and it will now look for the shortest path between the shortest lake and shortest river start, and give me like rivers like that. That I can use then to also create the texturing and force to not have collisions with rocks, trees, alien nests, villages, etc. So everything is interconnected, you know. And this is where Houdini helps me to do that. Well, it would be very complicated without. So this is why it's amazing to work like this. A quick example here, because a game is very iterative. There is nothing I create today that's gonna stay in 1 or 2 years, you know. And this is an example of the Arbor, where you've got the boats and stuff. And right now it's in version 0.001. You know, it doesn't even make any sense to show you this because it's really temporary. But I'm already able to solve problems that's gonna, and this problem solving will apply and reapply along the production. So here, for example, I'm making the place look old. All this red zone is generated automatically, and it's gonna be replaced by snow or dirt or sand and stuff like this. Because I forgot to say, but all my game is fully procedural. So that's the reason why these things are very important, because I cannot sculpt, I cannot paint, I cannot place an object manually in my scene. So I got to figure out ways that are logical, you know, using Houdini to place everything. So then I'm able to generate hundreds of maps without spending too much time on this. Okay, here is another example with the radius around the zone. So I'm able to flatten the ground where these huge areas are gonna spawn. Again, this is just placeholders, but the logic is done. So we've got a creature into the game, which I explained nothing about the game, by the way. Some people will be what? So yeah, okay, it's supposed to react a bit like that. It's a shape shifter, so it's gonna change shape. So what I did as a proof of concept, I use vertex animation textures to convert a spaceship into a T-Rex, because I thought that if I can convert morph one extreme into another extreme, then I'm gonna be able to morph anything. Okay, so here's a bit more better example. Even though this is just placeholder, it's just a skull changing into a sort of wolf, I don't know, and it works in Houdini and in Unreal Engine. So this is great. It means I can transform the face of my monster in real time based on events happening in the game, and also some destruction. So like the players can destruct the nest in real time, and if they are stuck into it, they will receive damage, etc. And here we finish with an ID, proof of concept again, where you've got this giant root and you can climb on it to access upper level on the nest.
Looks really cool.
Thank you. So you're able to generate the collisions and everything like that pretty easily. So for anyone interested, here is a Discord where you can follow my game. And yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you again, Ivan, and for all the people watching. We will upload after a longer version of this talk. We had to make it short for the SideFX Labs event. Thanks again for your time, Ivan, and let's go back to my presentation. Bye.
See ya.
We are back after this awesome call with Ivan, and now let me show you another example. This is the awesome example of Mhsprod, and Mhsprod is a really great artist. If I'm correct, he was working on big industries, and he decided to move and create motion design and more personal work. So if you visit his website, he created so much cool things. For example, he worked on this awesome Legend title, and he worked also on this short movie called Cairn. And please take a look at his website, because he also displays some how do I say that, some hints of his project, and those are really awesome. And what I wanted to show you is this really cool example called the pianograph. And pianograph is, I will just close my mouse. So this is so cool, and Niels just connected his piano in MIDI to Houdini, and with Houdini he was creating visuals. And this is what I want to show you with this talk and with creativity. You can do so much things outside of just what you think. I mean, this is so awesome. I just lost my words, you know, listening to the music and seeing some visual generated while he's playing. This is just mind-blowing. This is some art. This is awesome. This is also another example of someone using Houdini, and he has an incredible stories, because he's a young kid. He's 17, and he used Houdini for fun most of the time, and he doesn't want to be an Houdini artist. He wants to be a software engineer. And to me, this is mind-blowing, because most of the time we talk about the people that are in the industry. We talk about the people working, but we never talk about the people that are using Houdini but for fun, and that will maybe stop using it in their career. But this is an awesome example of how Houdini helped a kid to dive into his math and physics passion. And right now I'm with Enzo. Enzo, how are you?
Hello, Maxime. Hello, everybody. I'm really good. And you?
I'm fine, thanks for asking. I'm super glad that you're here today for this Side Effects online event. Can you please let us know more about you, and how did you discover Houdini?
So I've discovered Houdini 2 years ago on YouTube by seeing some really little tutorial about creating some organic and procedural stuff.
That's really cool, and right now I can see that you're into concrete stuff, making a procedural house using Vex and all that stuff. So did you transition to abstract design to something more realistic?
Yes, because art is not my main strength. So by the art, I went directly into the techniques. Because for me, if you don't understand what are you doing, it's a little bit dumb to create some things. So I think like the techniques could help you to understand really the basics of the software, and it could be really cool.
Yeah, and what really amazed me is that you told me that you don't want to be a Houdini artist, you want to be a future software engineer. So I'm really impressed by the fact that, yeah, I'm just doing Houdini as a hobby.
Yes, because like Houdini, it's really good things if you want to visualize some art principle about physics or math, or what are you doing at school. So Houdini helped me to create like some, I don't know, like vector fields when you see it in the college. So it's really cool. But I don't want to do Houdini like all my life. So I'm really amazed when I see some AI or really complex things implemented in the software.
Wow.
So if I don't stay here, I will be really amazed, like, to work for this society in the
Yeah,
future.
that's truly amazing. Everybody working in the IF field hire Enzo in the next year. And this is super surprising because most of the time we discover people doing Houdini as a job. When you meet someone doing music, he's telling you, yeah, I'm doing music, but you are doing Houdini, and maybe no one will mention it later. So it's really important for all the people watching the live that, yeah, some people are doing that for pleasure and learning. You told me that you discovered coding with Houdini, right?
Yeah, I've started coding by the Vex code, like you can see here. Because when you want to create some little thing in Houdini, you need to create some little line of code like this. So it's really cool and really simple to understand when you have a visual graphics experience. When you create, like, for example, a vector, you can see it directly into the viewer here. So it's really cool. Even at school, like, you can solve problem by writing a little bit of code like this.
That's really awesome because most of the French school wants, younger people to be involved into learning code. But I feel that is a sort of fail, and you are learning because you have a purpose. You can do actual things with your coding skills.
Yeah, I think we can't learn something that we won't need later. So actually, if you want to create, like, I don't know, a procedural house, for example, you will absolutely need some code, like this really simple stuff. So if you need it, you will be interested about it and you will learn it really good, really fast. It's really cool for me, and it really helped me to understand some basics about math and physics. So yeah, Houdini, it's really cool software. I can use it all day if I have some idea. But yeah, it's really perfect if you want to improve your technical skills or your problem solving skills. It's great.
That's awesome. Enzo, thanks again for being there. Thanks again for sharing your story with everybody. That's a big message of hope. Hope everybody in the chat, young people, keep the faith and keep doing things you love. And as you can see with the example of Enzo, you can just have fun with the software. See you, Enzo. Thanks again.
Bye.
This call with Enzo was mind-blowing too. I'm just amazed by all the things he's doing. Here is some frames that I wanted to share with you about the students that I had the opportunity to help. Those are students from CGMA Abstract Design. This is a course created by Adam Swab, and I'm giving the feedback and Q&A session for the students. And see how cool is that all the students that you can see had the same lessons, and you can see their pure creativity because with the same lessons they created so much different things. This is what I love, is that Houdini is a great tool, but it just helps to enhance creativity. Yeah, Oliver created those really nice shapes out of VDBs. This is just mind-blowing stuff. And I want to also call one of my older students, the masked rabbit, Adrian, because he has really impactful journey. Let's call him, because I think this could give up to a bunch of people starting, a bunch of people who struggle. And yeah, right now he's a motion design teacher, and he works as a freelancer, and you will see that this was quite hard for him to get at this point. Hey, what's up? And right now I'm with Adrian, aka the Masked Rabbit. How are you, Adrian?
Yeah, I'm good. And you, Max?
I'm fine, and I'm super glad that you are free today to talk with the people during the Side Effects online event. Could you share with us a bit more about your experience and your creative journey?
Okay. After my art studies in Paris, I moved to Bordeaux to find a graphic designer jobs. But there are too many people in the field, and that was an issue, a big issue, because I moved back to my parents' home. I didn't find a job, and I moved back to my parents' home to restart my studies in 3D.
Whoa, that must be a hard part of your life. I mean, quitting his parent homes, expecting for finding a job, and going back must be something hard. And I heard that this was still hard. So could you let us know more about what did you study and what you expected to be as a 3D artist?
I want to become a modeler in big industries. I work at Fox Entertainment. But I discovered the big industry is not for me because I don't want to be a little part of a big production, and I prefer to work in freelance. I discovered that after.
Whoa, that's cool. And right now you are working with Houdini. So why did you started Houdini, and what's the new things and exciting perspective that you discovered with the software?
This software makes me more creative because we can create so many iterations with the same base. I see this software like a hunting. I'm a hunter, and I searching some abstract design, and all my clients wants unique design. I think it's that I love in Houdini.
That's really cool because just before you, I was like interviewing Enzo that told me that he's really into the technical part of Houdini, and you're like the exact opposite, just looking for pure creativity, and you live not by the technical things, but just selling ideas and new perspective from for your clients, and that's really amazing to have those two examples. Do you have a small message to tell to all the people watching us right now?
Yes, I think it's be creative. Don't scared about Houdini. It's difficult to learn, but after training, we can do so many things and so many abstract design, and it's a really I really enjoy that.
Yeah.
I'm become a teacher this year.
So that's really cool to see you now part of the teacher team. Congrats again, Adrian. And yeah, the most impressive thing is that you started 3 times to become what you are today. And this is like a big thing. I mean, restarting again and again studies is something great. So people, don't give up. Follow follow the example of Adrian. And thanks again for sharing your experience.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
And right now I want to talk about something really, really important. Houdini for education. I don't know where you're based. I'm from France, and here, and I think this is the same case in many countries, math and physics are a pain at school. I mean, I think many people will just have a bunch of fun watching those memes and remember their scholarship, having their teacher just letting them know that you learned this last year. This is so true. This is also an image that I found on internet, and they just represent math like something complicated, but this doesn't even mean something. This is just bullshit. Do you imagine the same example with music? Do we put some guy with a guitar and random notes? I don't think so. I think people like to keep the image of math being something complicated. And I pretty love the viral video that this physics teacher made, Walter Levin. he made this really fun video, and he told teacher who makes physics boring are criminal. And I'm not always agree about the criminal things, but I think we could make it better. We could help students learning more about math and physics at school, maybe by making explosions. The cool thing about Houdini is that you can create a bunch of things, and you can tell students that you can create explosion for movies, you can create video games, and this is probably more attractive than telling kids, hey, you will probably be able to change the color of a liquid. And yeah, this is Moritz. And Moritz is awesome because he was the teacher of many people with Manuel as well from Entagma. And let me take a small example about what if we use Houdini in school. This is the result of the tutorial that we see before. And what if teachers and kids could experiment with Houdini? This is to me a fun and visual way to understand the lessons, and you can do it at home without any risk. No real explosion, just virtual one. And this is engaging because as a kid you can also start creating art, even if it's small things, even if it's artwork for your friend's rock band or the stage design for your school conference. And I noticed that most of the kids that do Houdini developed really impressive skills outside of just being an Houdini artist. They developed some teamwork skills, communication skills, mental flexibility, and also the problem solving skills, which are really important whatever you are doing in life. And those kids learning Houdini at school or having a teacher showing them examples could be find their way becoming VFX, GFX, or game industry designer. And this can also lead to other awesome jobs like software engineers. And of course, the most important, I think you can impress your little brother who calls you nerd by creating the stage visual of his favorite artist show. Bam! Yeah, cool thing is you can start right now. There is one of the most accessible apprentice license from all the softwares. This is so easy to get Houdini. So yeah, you can just start right now. And I just want to tell everybody that we have more responsibility than we think. Remember Enzo. What will be Enzo without side effects, without Moritz and Manuel and all the amazing people sharing their work and knowledge? And you have more impact than what you are, what you think. For example, I'm a big fan of Simon Olmedal and Lucas Vogir work, and each year I'm teaching motion design to a new class. I show their website and their videos, and everybody in the class is just super hyped. And yeah, Lucas created awesome videos with Alexa. And all the students are just like, I want to do that. This is amazing. And what I wanted to tell is, you don't have to create tutorial. You don't have to create anything educational. Just by creating something, you can get a whole class or a bunch of people inspired and motivated. So think there is a real person behind the views and the likes. There is probably one teacher showing the film to a whole class. There is also awesome people like Peter who shares knowledge on YouTube. And yeah, we have a view count, we have a like count, but can you imagine the real person that really enjoy the content, learn something? And we definitely have more impact than what we are thinking. And I want also to talk about MOPS. Henrik and Moritz created this really awesome stuff, and as they are putting on the website, this is the less scary part of Houdini. And this is true. Many people, including me, are less afraid of Houdini because of those tools. And Rick Foster is an awesome artist, is really creating this cool visual, and this is a new tool that he is developing really cool things, and I'm not sure he expects all the things that people can create with the tools, and you probably know that one, CG Wiki. So one thing, thanks Matt. I'm not sure you measure the positive impact that you add on people. So Matt Estella is a really great person that created the website CG Wiki with a bunch of awesome tutorials. And this is one of the best place to start. And this is updated when you have some new things, you have some lessons, and you can start learning about Vex with the Joy of Vex program, which is totally free. And the positive impact of this website is probably bigger than what Matt is thinking about. So I have a cool project coming, and this one will happen first in French because, you know, I master French and I'm not an English born. But yeah, I'm currently building a 1-hour conference that will be free for school and students. And this will be supported by Patreon and trusted companies. I really want it to be transparent and not say, hey, I will make it free. And no, I want it to be transparent. And this will provide inspiration and solution just to help teachers and students to get a new vision about what we can do with technology. And what we can do using math in softwares. This will be also created with some experts. I'm currently talking with a bunch of VFX and GFX professional because I think this is definitely something collaborative. The wider range of views we have, the better this will be for the education. This is also built with school teachers because they are the ones who really know where the kids struggle. And this is in collaboration with artists. This is not my project with a classroom. This is something that I expect to be bigger and to be about education in general. And my long-term goal will be put this always free to access. I'm a French dude, and in our values we have good education should be accessible for everyone. And this doesn't mean that I'm against paid things. I'm just for good and free things. I'm not for free and cheap things. So I think this is important for our future in general. And this is an evolutive concept. Yeah, just prepare the student to change and adapt. And worldwide thing. If the videos are released on internet, if several people do conference, this will be available everywhere. And I hope this will really help schools and students to get a fresh vision about science and get everybody hyped about science and design. So yeah, how you can help. You can give your opinion, you can just contact me, chat, and I will be definitely happy to hear your vision. The more feedbacks that we have on a project, I think the better it is. You can also support the project if you have examples, if you created things that you think will be useful for students. You can share your work or just let me know to make the project stronger. And you can also spread the word, whether your cousin is the Prime Minister of Education or a math teacher. Any people involved will help. So thanks again, guys, for watching my side effects presentation. Thanks again to all the people who were active in the chat. Thanks to the Mask Rabbit, Enzo, and Evan, who helped me make this talk more interesting. And yeah, just contact me over Instagram at MHSMax or on LinkedIn, Maxime Hacquard. And if you see me at an event, I'm a real person and I will be definitely happy to meet you and have a nice moment. So yeah,